Hello friends, Mike Adams here with Audacity Training. Hey, as I promised in the last video, I want to take a look at the alpha release of Audacity version 4. This is an alpha build, it's a public alpha build. Alpha just simply means that it's the first public release, it's got bugs in it, it's still under development. There's things that don't work in it yet. There's things that haven't been completely programmed into it, so it's not actually a production version of the software, but it'll give us a pretty good idea maybe of what's ahead. So caution number one, I wouldn't use this in production because there are things that don't work. But take a look at the screen that I have here. When you first open Audacity, this is what you get. In the back there is Audacity itself with kind of the new look. But you get this splash screen or this separate screen that pops up here, which has some really good information in it that maybe you should take a look at. Don't just blow past this screen, but read it and see what you think. One of the things that is in here is they're asking for help with debugging this. And there's a link right here that says link to bug report. And when you do link to that bug report, let me see if I can bring it up. You get this. This is the bug report. These are current bugs that have been reported that are in this alpha version, so that Audacity will be able to work on these, be able to make them better, to eliminate these bugs, to make the program software better. So that's the first thing you're going to notice when you open this. But you can scroll this down and you can see that there's a lot of information here. And here's some of the things that are currently in development and are not included in this alpha release. So you got things like macros aren't here, the spectrogram's not here, there's no label tracks yet, there's not a label track editor, there's no metadata editor, the plugin manager isn't there yet, cloud uploading isn't there, OpenVino plugin support isn't there. And just a lot of different effects, including the envelope tool. So again, it's an alpha version. So it's not something that you're going to want to use in production. So I'll let you kind of read through this on your own and see what you think. I'm going to click OK to close this screen. This is the new look for Audacity, at least in this alpha build. This is what we get. And I have dark mode enabled. So, I don't like bright screens in my face. And so I go dark mode. But let's look at this a little bit. So over here on the top left, you have this home tab. You also have a project tab and a publish tab, which I can't get to yet because I haven't started a project. So down the column here, you also have my accounts, which evidently isn't working right now. I click on it, nothing happens. And then learn, which I'm assuming is going to be the manual. Again, that's not there yet either. But over here on the right side, on the top, you've got the ability to either tile this, the news and recents and the new projects and all of these options here on the left. You can either tile them or you can put them in list mode. So for now, we'll keep it tiled and kind of see what happens. If I click new, it's going to open up a project. If I open Other, it's going to bring up this window, and you'll see down here at the bottom, it says Support All Open Files. AUP3 is what we're used to from version 3.0 on, or now AUP4. Now, it's my understanding, and I don't remember where I heard this, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that Audacity 4 isn't going to be backward compatible in the sense that you can save a file here as an AUP3. I may be wrong in that, but that's what I heard that somewhere, and I don't remember where. So it will open AUP3, but you can't save it in AUP3 from what I understand and from what I've heard. But the normal saving format now, the normal extension is going to be AUP4 from this point on, which makes sense because it's going to be Audacity 4. So let's do this. Let's come over here and let's just click this big button that says New Project. And when I click that big button that says New Project, it opens up a project window. And some of this should look kind of familiar. I just want to walk through a little bit of it with you. Up here, of course, you got the Transport toolbar. You've got the Edit toolbar. You've got a couple of new tools here. You've got this clip with a little scissors, that for cutting an audio. You've got that. You've got the zoom in, zoom out. Right here, of course, right now, you've still got the availability to look at hours, minutes, and seconds, which, I use time. I don't use measures. I don't do that because I don't do music anymore. So my time bar is all in times, and you can change this to reflect where the playhead is, just like on older versions. You can also snap. I don't snap to anything because, again, I don't do music. If I click on this microphone icon, this is what it gives me. This should look kind of familiar. Now you're seeing the level as I'm talking. It's recognizing my microphone, and we'll make sure in just a minute that it's recognizing the right microphone because I'm trying to use this little DJI. It might be picking up the microphone in my laptop. We're going to find out here in just a minute. So this is the microphone metering. And if I click on Enable Input Monitoring, it brings it up over here as well. And you can hear that. There's a little bit of an echo. You can probably hear that because it's playing back through my speakers now. And I don't want that. So I'm going to get rid of that just as quick as I can. And again, kind of, we're used to having that bar maybe up here in this area. Well, now when you click on it, it'll be down here. You can put it up here. I'll show you that here in just a minute too. But for now, it's going to be down here. So I'm going to unclick that. And if we come up here to Audio Setup, this is where we set up, our recording device, our playback device, etc. If I click once on this, I get a window that should look kind of familiar. Again, here's my host, my playback device, my recording device, my recording channels, which I'm just going to do mono because it's easier to demonstrate. I can rescan audio devices, and we'll try that in just a minute. Or I can open up the audio settings window, which opens up all of these features. So I'm going to click that, and we get this, audio features, or audio settings rather, with the same information here. And you can see here that it's got my playback device as my MacBook Pro speakers. I don't want that. So let me see if I can set this the way that I want it. I've got earbuds in. And in my system settings, let me look at this real quick and just double check that I did this right. In my system settings for output, I've got my Bluetooth earbuds selected for my output. And my input is this wireless mic. So we should be good to go there. And over here in Audacity, though, you can see that it's not seeing that. So what I want to do, let me scroll down here and see if it's down here. Nope, it's not there. What I want to do is rescan audio devices. So I'm going to cancel out of here. I'm going to come up here to Audio Setup, and I'm going to rescan audio devices. I didn't see that feature in that window, did you? Maybe it'll come at a later date. But let's rescan. And hopefully it went out and picked up what my system settings are, and it's going to give me that option. So let's go back to Audio Settings. And now it's still got playback set as my speakers, which I don't want, so it didn't really pick that up. It's got my recording device is a wireless mic, so that's good. It does see that. I'm recording in mono, like I mentioned a minute ago. I don't care about buffer and latency right now. I've got it set at 48,000 hertz at 32-bit float. And here is one spot where you can change the range of your monitor meter. So I like to have mine set at a -84. And when I set that at a -84, you can see over here on the right side that it went from 60, a -60, down to a -84. Because I want to see what's going on below -60. And now if I click OK, and I come back up here to my monitor button, you can see that here it changed as well. Now it's down to 84. So record level, I'm not sure what that's telling me right there. That's not something I can select. Set record level. I guess that just simply means I can, bring it down to whatever. So I'm going to just click back out of here. It bothers me a little bit that it's not picking up my my playback device. I've rescanned for hardware. I've rescanned the hardware and it's not picking it up. So I'll tell you what I want to do. I'm going to close out this version of Audacity. I'm going to restart it. And I'm going to see if, in doing that, if it comes back with the modern or the actual device that I'm trying to use. So let me come over here to Audacity, and I'm going to quit that. It's asking me, do I want to save this? No, I don't want to save anything. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've restarted Audacity. We've got that splash screen again. It's alpha build. I'm going to click OK. And we're going to start a new project again, just like we did before. And now let's come up to our audio setup and see what it's doing. Now the playback device recognizes my earbuds, not AirBud, but my earbuds. So I'm going to click on that, and hopefully it will remember that. So if we come back to audio setup, and I'm going to go down to audio settings, yep, it's got my playback device as my earbuds. I had to restart Audacity to get it to do that. Rescanning the hardware devices didn't do it. But that's, part of the alpha build. Another reason you don't want to use this in production just yet. Use it, but don't use it in production. Make some recordings, mess around with it. Send the report into Audacity and, help them build a better product, build a better project here. So again, we've got our audio settings here, playback and record. Spectral display isn't enabled yet. This editing button is interesting. By the way, I'm in preferences here. Let me show you how I got there. Because it kind of just opened on me. It didn't really tell me it was going to do that. So what I need to do, and I just realized something. I don't have this monitor that Audacity is in. I don't have it set up as the main display. So let me do that. Hopefully it won't crash on me here. Okay, so now I've got it set up as the main display. Sorry about that. I meant to do that before I started recording. The reason that I set it up as the main display is I want you to see the Audacity menu here at the top. It's on my other screen. It was on my other screen, so it was a little confusing. But now it's up at the top where it belongs. So let's expand this out a little bit more. Take advantage of the full screen here. Okay, so here we are. We're back again. And now that we've got this project open, again, we've talked about the toolbar up here. And we've talked about the microphone monitoring. We talked about audio setup. Over here on the right, we've got Workspace. The options are classic, music, modern. Of course, classic, gives us the classic look. And there's our meter toolbar up here at the top, just like we were used to before, if that's something that you want to do. And if we click the microphone here, we should start getting monitoring. Again, monitoring right now is just down below in that meter. It's not really monitoring up here. Maybe that's for record. I'm testing this at the same time you are, so bear with me. I'm going to go back to modern, just on account of because. And we've got undo and a redo buttons here. That should be pretty self-explanatory. Again, we have our speaker monitor icon here. This is another place that we could evidently change it. I've got the monitor set up for the vertical. If I put it to top, there it is right there. But where did it go? All right, so I just opened this back up. Did I do this right? No, I was on the speaker icon. I'm sorry. See, you got to keep up with me here. I get confused easily. Let's put this back in the sidebar because I like it on the side. And I think we're going to find out in a few minutes that this bar here really is for record level, not for monitoring, or not for playback rather. But we'll find that out here in just a minute. Right now I've got the meter style set up for default. I've got it for logarithmic decibel, which is where I'm going to keep it. If I come up here to the gear icon, I've got pretty much what's in the upper toolbar up there. Just a repeat down here, it looks like. So I suppose that's a good thing. If I come up, I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to come up to Preferences. I don't know, on a PC, Preferences I think used to be in the Edit drop-down window, but on a Mac they're right here. And so this is, a minute ago it opened up Preferences for me. And we're going to open it up again. This is how I normally get to it. So we've got, General Preferences. This is new, Temporary File Location. Folder, it says folder in which unsaved projects and other data are kept. So you can select a different folder there. That's new, that's interesting. So I guess that means as you're saving a project, maybe it saves it in that folder, unless you choose another one. I don't know, we'll have to find out. The appearance, again, I am in the dark mode. I don't want to be in light mode because it's a bit overwhelming. And I don't want to enable high contrast because I just don't like it. Follow system theme, I guess I could click that, but I didn't. And I'm selecting colorful because, hey, why not? Here's our audio settings again. Again, I've got my wireless mic and my earbuds. Playback and record. Playback I've got set as best quality, that's probably default. And solo button behavior. Solo can be activated for multiple tracks at the same time. I like that. I want to keep it that way. You could option that on the previous version of Audacity as well. So, move cursor along timeline during playback. Short skip, 5 seconds. I think that's new. I'm pretty sure that's new. I don't know that I'm going to really like that, but I'll mess with it later if I need to. Show mic metering. Now if I enabled input monitoring like I did before, I'm hearing it in my earbuds. And you can see it activated that side bar, that side audio bar. This is really weird. I hear myself in a short delay. And it's weird. So I'm going to disable that. And then we have spectral display. That's not there yet. Editing, this is one new feature here. If you delete a section of track, it's saying, do you want to leave the two remaining sections where they are, or do you want to move them together? And not only do you have the option of moving them together, but you can move all the tracks or all the audio segments within one track, move all of them, shift all of them over, or that last option there says all clips on all tracks move back to fill the gap. I think this is replacing sync lock tracks because that's what sync lock tracks does. And so you can option that either way. I'm just going to leave it like it is and, personal preference with what you want to do. What's this telling us? Asymmetric stereo highlights, or heights rather, not highlights. Dragging on the center line may adjust the height of the channel. Okay, that's good. Let's leave it there. Pasting behavior, always paste audio as a new clip. Maybe. We'll have to mess with that as I move along. Not in this video, but, as I move along and using this more. Because this is new to me too, so I'm learning right along with you. Plugins. I like my effects grouped. This is telling us that when you open up the effect drop-down window, do you want all the effects, in a list, or do you want to group them by category? I like them grouped by category. Just to me, it's a little bit more manageable. So I'm going to leave it to group effects. Music, what's there? Nothing yet. Nothing in iCloud. Shortcut keys, they're all here. It looks a lot different than what it used to look like. But that might be something to mess with too if you want to customize any shortcuts. Advanced options, nothing there yet. So I'm just going to click OK and close this preferences window. Now let's record. Let's add a track. We can come up here and I guess, physically add a track, or maybe we can just press record. Should we try that? Again, I'm going to monitor here just to make sure. Yeah, I got a, it's a decent level. It's kind of low, but that's okay. So what happens if I just press record? Okay, I pressed record, and it looks like I'm laying down a track. It's actually working. And you can see that my record level is reflected in that vertical meter for that track. There's no decibel markings on that yet. I'm sure there will be, but there's nothing just yet. So we're recording some audio here, and things look good, I guess. I mean, the audio's a little low, but hey, at least it's recording, right? Now, you'll notice that while I'm recording this track, I don't see anything on this vertical monitor scale over here on the far right. Again, I think that's just for playback. I think our record monitor is the one in the track itself, and the playback monitor is the one on the right, maybe. I'm not real sure. But I'm going to, can I press the space bar and make it stop? Yes, that works. And let's skip it back to the beginning. And let's do this. Let's see if we can kind of widen this track, make it a little bit bigger so that we can see it a little bit better. Now I'm going to press the space bar to see if I can play it back. And it's not working with the space bar. Let me make sure I'm highlighted here. Yeah, space bar isn't working, so let me come back to the play button. It's not playing back either. I ran into this problem earlier before I started recording, so I'm glad it's happening again. If I come down here to the track and I select the track and I press the space bar, okay, I press record, and it looks like I'm laying down a track. It plays. So I don't know if I'm assuming that's a bug. I hope that's not legit, but I had to highlight that piece of audio. I don't know if I had to highlight the entire track to get it to play. But let's go back and let's unhighlight it. And let's push play again. Okay, I pressed record, and it looks like I'm laying down a track. Okay, that time it worked. So I don't know, what happened there. I'm not real sure. But is the meter bar on the right side working? Okay, I pressed record, and it looks like I'm laying down a track. It's actually working. And you can see that my record level is reflected in that. Okay, while we've got this going, let's add another track, another mono track. And again, there's my record monitor. Let me rewind this, get it back to the beginning. I'm clicking too many times. Let's open this up a little bit too. And then let's mute this top track. And let's select this bottom track, and let's see if we can record just on it. So we're recording again, and this is what we're recording. Hello, recording. Hello, Audacity. Hello, everybody watching. This is a test of Audacity version 4.0, the alpha build, the public alpha build that's been put out. And we're recording a second track. So let's stop right now. All right, I'm going to skip back to the beginning. I've got that top track muted still. That's good. So let's play the bottom track. So we're recording again, and this is what we're recording. Hello, recording. Hello, Audacity. Hello, everybody watching. This is a test of Audacity. Okay, let's stop that. Let's bring it back. And remember, there was an option to solo more than one track. Let's see if that works. Okay, we've got both tracks soloed. Let's play it. It'll sound weird talking over myself, but here we go. Okay, so I pressed record, and it looks like I'm laying down the track. This is actually recording. I've been in a few conversations like that, have you? Where people aren't listening to each other, they're just talking. All right, let's unsolo that. Let's unsolo that. And it looks like whatever track I have highlighted is where I get that meter bar. So if I highlight the bottom track, I get the meter bar there. I hope that, I messed with this earlier and I couldn't, I couldn't find a way to do it we messed with it a little bit in audio setup when I chose this microphone as the input. What if I have two of these mics? This is the DJI Mic 3. I can have two mics. And I tried setting it up that way. I couldn't get it to go. It was both mics all the time. I also tried it on my Rodecaster Duo, where I have two inputs. In previous versions of Audacity, I could add multi-tracks in Audacity from my Rodecaster Duo, but it was all 15 tracks. You know, you couldn't just select track 3 and 4, which is actually tracks 1 and 2 on this, where the microphones are. And I kind of had the same problem here. I'll mess with it a little bit more and see what I can do with it. But this seems to be, I mean, we're headed in the right direction, I think. And again, I hope that, you know, we can get some, I'm sure there'll be some decibel markings along here and get a little bit more clarity on, you know, how this meter here differs from the big meter on the right. You know, maybe that's a master track thing. In fact, let's try that. I wasn't really looking at that. I'm going to push play with both tracks selected. I'm going to watch that meter bar on the far right, that tall one, and see if there's a difference. If it's like a master meter bar. Okay, so I pressed record, and it looks like I'm laying down the track. This is actually recording, and you can see that my record level is reflected. Okay, so I peaked out about a -10, -9, somewhere in there. Let me mute that bottom track and do it again and see what the meter difference is. Okay, I pressed record, and it looks like I'm laying down a track. It's actually working, and you can see that my record level. Okay, I think that meter bar on the right is like a master meter bar for all of your tracks, I think. I got my mouse over here, I'm trying to widen that out, but I can't grab it. You know, maybe that'll come at a future time. It'd be nice if those were a little bit wider, just to be able to see them a little bit better. So, I guess that when you select a track, like right now I've got that bottom track selected, it looks like that's similar to arming it to record, because that's when I get a level meter in it. If I select the top one again, the meter level goes that way. So I'm not real sure, you know, if that's going to be what that is going to be, or if it's something else. What do we have here? Well, we have the slider bar for, I'm assuming decibels. Yes, we do. And if I double click it, it goes back to 0. That's good. This must be balance. Yes. If I double click it, it goes back to top center. These 3 dots. This is where I can rename the track. Let's call this one hello. See what that does. And I can duplicate the track here. I can delete the track. I can move the track up or down. Let's move it down. All right, that worked. Now if I come back to it again, I can change the track color. Let's go turquoise. Ooh, there you go. We'll get a deep turquoise here, kind of change the mood a little bit. Rulers, it's grayed out right now, so I don't think that feature is going to be available. Either that or I'm not doing it right. So let's move this track back up. And again, we can rename them here. We can duplicate it. If we duplicate the track, it duplicates what's in the track. So what I just did there, let me show you that again. Let me delete it and then come back up here to the top. Sorry, I kind of clicked that quick. And I clicked on the 3 dots. And now I'm going to duplicate. And it duplicated it down at the bottom of the screen. And so now I have an exact duplicate of what's, not just the track, but what's in the track. So again, I'm going to delete that. And let's come back up here and look at effects. Like I've got that top track selected right now. If we come up to the effect drop-down menu, this is where the grouping happens. I mentioned before I like to group my effects. You know, delay and reverb, everything's not in here, by the way. It's an alpha build. EQ and filtering, it's only got a graphic EQ, which it does look different. If you're used to the graphic EQ in previous versions of Audacity. This one's different because you've got some information now, or more information. Specifically, on the left side, you've got dB markings, plus and minus. And if I grab one of these sliders, let's just grab this one here at 80 Hertz. I'm just hovering the mouse over it, and it's telling me that it's at 0 dB. In other words, the 80 Hertz frequency I'm not doing anything with. It's just what's there. I'm not touching it. So I'm holding down the mouse button, and if I slide this up, you can see that I'm increasing that frequency. If I slide it down, I'm decreasing that frequency. What happens if I double click it? It goes back to 0 if I double click it. So that's good. So what do we have here with presets? Select preset, it says. Let's go with bass cut. Oh, yeah, that's cutting some bass out of it, all right. I thought that might be a high-pass filter, but it's much more than that. So what happens if I click flatten? Brings everything back to 0. And treble boost, what does it do? It brings up the high end. And again, I can move these sliders around and I can see the frequency now and how much I'm actually affecting that frequency, attenuating or amplifying that particular frequency. I think I can save a preset right here by clicking the save button. Yes, I can. Let's save this as test and tell it OK. And then let's go back here to presets, and there's our test. Okay, so it's saved it. Here's an undo button. Let's click it a couple times. It's not really working yet. What happens if we click the 3 dots? Okay, we have user presets, which we only have one. We can save presets. We can delete a preset. Here's the factory presets. I can import and I can export. You know, I don't know if the import function is going to be the same. Can I import from older versions of Audacity, my presets? I guess we'll find out. So that seems to be working pretty good. Let's see what preview does here. Okay, I pressed record and it looks like I'm laying down a track. It's actually working. And you can see that my record level is reflected in that vertical meter for that track. Okay, there's no playing. I can't stop it. There's no decibel marking. You see the little yet. I'm sure there will be, but there's nothing just yet. I can't stop it. I'm hitting cancel. So we're recording some audio here. It isn't doing anything. And, you know, things look good, I guess. I move this down, the audio's a little low, see. But hey, at least it's recording, right? Now, you'll notice that while I'm recording this track, I can move it, but I don't see anything on this vertical monitor scale over here on the far right. So that's a bug. Again, I think that's worth just reporting. For playback. I think our record messing around monitor is the one in the track itself. Tell you what, and I am the playback monitor is the one on the right. Maybe. I'm going to stop this. I'm not real sure. And then I'll be right back. I'm going to, can I press the space bar and make it stop? Okay, I'm back. I did a force quit on Audacity. Again, I'm on a Mac. And, you know, I got that little circle thing going, couldn't do anything about it. When I restarted Audacity, it asked me if I wanted to restore that project, so I did, so it's still here. So we can still play with it a little bit more. And I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but let's do this. We've gone to the Effect drop-down menu, and we've looked at a few things here. Let's do a little bit more. Let's look at volume and compression. And let's do loudness normalization on that top track. How does that sound? And we're going to go perceived loudness. Let's go minus 21 dB of LUFS. Again, this is perceived loudness. It's LUFS. It's overall loudness. I prefer doing this a lot of time in place of, you know, just regular loudness normalization. Gives me a little more control. But let's click apply. And I just had a piece of it selected. And that's all it did. I tell you, you got to watch me like a hawk. I'm going to do Command Z to undo that. And let's come up here. I'm right-clicking in this selection. I want to clear that loop. That didn't work. Maybe it's not looped. Clear loop, loop region. What's this? Show vertical rulers. We'll come back to that in just a minute. I'll show you what that did. All right, so looks like I'm laying down a track. Loop thing there. I don't know how to get rid of it. No. I'm not sure how to get rid of this little thing right here. If I do clear loop, toggle loop region. Nope. That puts another thing up here above that selection to actually loop it. That coincides with the loop button here being depressed. So let me undo that. And how do I do this? I can bring this out. Get the playhead out of here. Clear loop section. How do I actually get rid of this, Audacity? How does it work? How does it work? Well, there it goes. All right. I slopped into it somehow. All right, here we go. So we've got that top track selected. Let's go back up to our effect, drop-down menu, volume and compression. Let's do LUFS, or loudness normalization, and let's apply that. Yeah, it did pretty good. Let's solo that track and play it back and see what the difference in volume is. Okay, I pressed record, and it looks like I'm laying down a track. It's actually working, and you can see, okay, that's pretty good. I'm up just above a -6. It's probably a little bit hotter than what I like to be. Let me bring this back to the beginning. Let's do this. Let's try this if it's available. Let's go back to volume and compression, and let's put the limiter on it. See if we can bring that down a little bit. This is different. The legacy limiter, isn't in here, so that would make sense, I guess. What do we have as far as presets? Play it loud, default preset. VO limiter, is that voice only limiter, voiceover limiter? Let's try that. It's got a threshold of a -4. It's actually reducing the volume by 1 dB. Look ahead, knee width. Okay, let's just leave that like it is. Let's apply this and see what it does. Pay special attention to that peak right there when I apply this. Oh, so it not only limited things, it amplified things, even though I'm pretty sure it said, -1. So it compressed it too. It compressed and it limited at the same time. I've still got it soloed. Let's play it back. Okay, I pressed record, and it looks like I'm laying down a track. It's actually working. And you can see that my record level is reflected in that vertical meter. Okay, I don't know about you, but with my earbuds, I am picking up a little bit of distortion. I'm going to click Command Z to undo. If you're on a computer or on a PC, it's Control Z. So let's undo that. I'm going to listen again. Okay, I pressed record, and it looks like I'm laying down a track. Yeah, that distortion's gone. So I have to play around with that particular limiter. I don't know that I like it that well, but I have time, so I can play around with it on my own time. The compressor, what does it look like? All right, this is good. So the compressor is another way to limit, actually, but it limits it a little bit differently than just a raw limiter, like the old limiter on the old versions of Audacity did. This version of the limiter compresses as well. So let's try this. Let's put some compression on it and see if we can't smooth out that audio. You can see that we've got dips in the dynamic range. We've got some high spots, some low spots. Let's see what we can do with it. Attack is at 3 milliseconds. Release 100. Yeah, we'll leave those like that. Threshold is a -12. Yeah, let's keep it there and see what it'll do. The knee width is at 6 dB. That's this area right here. Makeup gain. Wow, they're bringing it up 9 dB. Let's apply this and see what it'll do. Not a whole lot. That was a beautiful letdown. So let's come back up here to edit. Yeah, I thought I put a compressor on it. It did do a little bit, but not very much. So let's try it again, though. It bugs me. So dB gain, 9 dB. What if we don't want to make up any gain? Let's let's leave the gain at 0. You can see it's bringing down that whole graph. So before it was bringing it up to where I was maybe peaking it at 0, but let's bring it down now. So it's going to compress more. And a 4:1 ratio, that's okay for spoken word. We'll leave it there. And 12 dB at the threshold. Let's apply this and see what the changes are. There, that compressed it a little bit better. We're a little bit more even. Let me play it now. Okay, I pressed record and it looks like I'm laying down a track. It's actually working. And you can see that my record... Yeah, so that works. What else can we do here? While I've got you, we can do audio unit effects, which if you select audio unit or VST3 from this menu, they're going to be destructive. If you select them from this menu over here where it says effects, you're putting them on non-destructively. So here's a couple of them. Let's try, what's an isotope as far as audio units? Isotope is a program that I've had for a few years now. I just have 10. Isotope 11's out now, but I don't have it. But here's one that I like. Isotope mouth declick. Gets rid of my ugly clicks. And just like that, Audacity crashed. This is the problem that I have on the current version of Audacity. If I select, it depends on the effect. It's never happened with a mouth declick, but it's happened with other isotope effects. When I select them, Audacity crashes. And that's what just happened on this new version here of Audacity. Again, it's alpha version, so expect that. Don't use it in production. But that's what happens, and you saw it live, and you saw it here. So let me restart Audacity here. And there's our splash screen. Do you want to get that previous session? Yes. So it brought it back okay. And it looks like it left it with that compression that we put on it. So yeah, that's one problem that I've had with Audacity. It crashes, randomly crashes when I put an effect on it usually from isotope. It's happened with FabFilter too. When I put my FabFilter EQ on it, it's happened. It's happened also when I put a waves effect on it, specifically the NS1 noise reduction. Sometimes it crashes. Same issue. So I'm going to kind of leave that where it is. I don't want this video to get any longer than it has to be. So let's come over here and put a real-time effect on it. And maybe we'll wrap up right here. So if I click the effect button here in the track, it opens this up again, which we see on the current versions of Audacity, where we can add an effect to the track here, or we can add an effect to the master track down here. So if I add an effect here onto the track, let's do this. Let's go back to audio units, or we could do VST3, I guess, the same. Let's go back to isotope. You feel brave? Oops, where'd it go? Let's go back to isotope, and let's put the mouth declick on it as a real-time effect. Ooh, that looks better. So I've got some presets that are actually in isotope. I don't see them here. So let's just play with this, and let's get it going. Well, let's widen our clicks. I like to have this anywhere between 3 and 5. So let's put it about 3.5. How's that? That's just telling the plugin, I consider this a mouth click, and I can widen, you get a little spike when you hear a mouth click. You can widen that a little bit. You can narrow it down. For now, I'm just going to leave it like this. And let's leave it opened up. Hopefully it doesn't crash. And we've got that track soloed, so I'm going to click play. And let's see down here, you'll be able to see how many mouth clicks we're getting. Okay, I pressed record, and it looks like I'm laying down a track. It's actually working. And you can see that my record level is reflected in that vertical meter. Okay, I hit spacebar to stop. I'm going to rewind it. And you can see that just in that little bit there, we've got 48 clicks repaired, which is, significant. If we increase our sensitivity a little bit, it's going to go up. We're going to get more. Now I can also click here to output clicks only, which sounds really gross. But let's do that and listen to how gross my mouth clicks are. You probably needed some headphones or earbuds or something to hear that, but just in that short little piece there, we got 50 mouth clicks. If I uncheck that and we keep listening, I say we keep listening. Spacebar isn't working. When I hit the spacebar to play, it looks like it's playing. Up here in the transport toolbar, I have the pause button, but the control or the playhead isn't moving. Press spacebar again. Let me press the play button. Again, nothing. Let me make sure that I've highlighted this playhead. I'm going to press the spacebar. Okay, it's not moving. If I take it back to the beginning, what does it do? I'm going to press the spacebar. Okay, I pressed record, and it looks like I'm laying down a track. It's actually working. And you can see that my record level is reflected in that vertical meter for that track. Okay, so that's a bug. I couldn't get the playhead to play with my effect window open. I couldn't get it to play by using the space bar or by clicking the play button, even though it looked like it was playing. The pause button came up and I pressed the space bar like it was playing, but it wasn't playing. So there's another little bug. I think that, when we're talking about all of this, let me close this out of here. When we're talking about all of this, just remembering that it's an alpha build, and you don't want to get too critical of it. You don't want to get too carried away with it at the same time. But one thing we haven't done yet is we haven't exported anything. So what happens if I come to my publish button? Okay, nothing happens there. If I come back to my home button, I can add a new project. If I save this, I guess I have to save it first, right? So let's do a save as. I'm going to save it to my computer somewhere. Session data. Let's give it a name, new project. Okay, that's fine. So now we have new project, whatever, has been saved. Now let's come to our Publish tab. And we still can't publish anything. What happens if I come up to File and let's export audio? There we go. So evidently export audio, maybe publishes for after it's been published, I don't know. We're going to export full project audio. We're going to leave it in that same folder, I guess. Let's export it as an MP3 just for fun. And we're going to go mono, 48,000, constant bit rate. Let's export this thing and see what we can find. Okay, now the question is, where did it go? Okay, I found it. It's right here in my Documents folder in Audacity 4, that default folder. Here's our new project right here. If I just bring it up here and drag it into Audacity, will it go? Yay, it went. And of course, it's a completely different color, which is good. But this is our exported MP3 file right here. And let's solo it. And let's play it back. Again, spacebar is not working. Click once on the playhead, hit spacebar. Still doesn't work. Let's make sure that we're stopped, that we're all the way back. Okay, I pressed record, and it looks like I'm laying down a track. It's actually working. And you can see that my record level is reflected in that. Okay, so, there's a few bugs. There are definitely some bugs. Use this. Play around with it. Get used to it. Let Audacity know of problems that you find like this and help them debug it. Many eyes will make it a lot better. I'm not in direct contact with Audacity. People think I am, but I'm not. But I still hear rumors of, sometime in the first quarter of 2026 maybe, getting this version 4 done. So we're getting a step in the right direction. There's probably more we could have looked at here. Again, it's an alpha build. Go get it. If you don't have it already, go get it. Let me find the link for you. I'll put the link in the description of this video so you can go get your own copy. I'm sorry this went a little bit long. I hope it wasn't too boring for you. I'm just feeling my way through it as I go here. So I guess I will let you go. And thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, y'all take care.